Hello everyone, how are you doing? Very good morning. Welcome to this 10 a.m. class. I think I'm online. I'm not sure what's happening right now. Can you just tell me if I'm online or not? And whether it's coming online or not. Let's sure. Okay, yeah, I'm there. Okay, thank you very much. Verbal ability crash course, 3rd of November. So this series is going on from August actually, but from last week we have from the since last Monday we have been in this crash course mode, and before that also 2 weeks 3 weeks we were in the crash course mode, and probably the timings were changing and all, but now since there's a Telegram group and there are some 7-8 students who talk to me, who share some ideas and thoughts, timings have been changed to 10 a.m. now, and 10 a.m. is verbal ability and 2 p.m. is reading comprehension. So like I always say that the important thing is to keep putting a little bit effort every day to sort of ask a couple of questions every day, to sort of solve a couple of questions every day, and then analyze the mistakes which you have done, the errors which you have made, and overcoming those errors every day and improving a little bit every day. That is the agenda. At the same time, write one full-length test every weekend or once in a week, and then analyze those errors for 2-3 days. Now if you will do this, then you will definitely find a lot of improvement in your CAT performance, and you will also see a lot of improvement, a lot of confidence when you will write the other management entrances after CAT, that is IFT, like SNAP, like XAT, NMAT. So you will see amazing improvement there as well, and that is what you're saying, that the confidence has to improve every week, every day. That is the idea here. So to stay in touch, please download Unacademy app, install it, and go to Plus, go to CAT, and subscribe. So Unacademy offers you a lot of free activities, like free classes and free quizzes on the app, even if you don't subscribe to Unacademy, which are your special live classes in which you can ask questions, you will have quizzes, and there's a lot of activity which happens. And like YouTube, it is also free and it'll never be charged. But there are certain sections when you become a Plus student, you get certain privileges, which are also equally important than looking at the free class, which is test series, question banks, topic quizzes, sessional text, full-length test, right? Also, there is one national is scholarship test, the link of which you will get below. You can join that test also, and that is also extremely important, and that is also going to give you a lot of help in your preparation. But plus में क्या होता है, you will get more in individual attention, because as in plus classes the number of students are very few, and we sort of take care that there are only few students in a class, and then the kind of interaction which we have on the chat and on the that interaction is very effective, and that entire interface is much is student friendly than if you compare it to live chat per se. So these are the benefits, and every 3rd class, every 4th class is a doubt solving session, and you can request to us Plus courses. You can request to us like you are placing requests in a Telegram group for certain topics and certain courses. Similarly, requests for Plus courses can also be taken. Look at the pricing. It's most cost effective. 24,000 is 18,900 after using the code Saxena Live, and you can use also the code. You can also and for 12 months it is 15,750, and there are EMI options as well, which will come down to very less, 1,450 and 875 for 12 months. And I think with the people who are paying for CAT 2020, 6 months or 12 months I think is better. For people who are trying for 20 to 21, then they should go for 24-month subscription. Come back to last bag later on. So when it comes to so today we're going to talk about, mostly I have created some questions on parajumbles, and we'll be having one question also on summary as well, and then we're going to analyze the how do we analyze questions here. So we are going to do that as well. So I try to keep a mix of verbal ability. I don't tell what is the topic, I just take everything together. So yesterday it was odd one out and one para summary question. Today it is para jumble or para formation or jumbled paragraph as we call them, and one question from para summary. So these questions I'm going to discuss, I made these questions for you people, keeping in mind the CAT pattern and how the questions come and that level. And the para summary question which we're going to discuss here, this is going to be an actual CAT question which appeared in CAT a couple of years. So what is this about? What is this para jumble? What is this jumbled paragraphs? So there are many names basically. First, let's talk about the names a little. Some people call them para jumbles. Some people call them jumbled paragraphs. And in CAT, they call it paragraph formation or para formation questions. Now, since there are multiple exam taking bodies in India, like there is IBPAS and there is SSC and there is UPSC, then there are state level boards, then there are these so many management examinations, state level management entrances happen, then your MAT happens, then your IFT, SNAP, NMAT, CAT, then if you take GRE, GMAT into consideration. So there are so many exam taking bodies. People can keep their own names. People can, any person, any content developer or any exam paper static body or council can take up any name. So then if you will not forgive me, then there is SBI also, then RBI is also there, then NABARD is also there. Okay, then they like to take their own examinations. SIDBI is there. So there are so many other institutions which take up their own separate examinations. Okay, so in that way I think then you have this life insurance people, they also have their own exam. So since there are so many exam taking bodies, there are number of jargons which have come up basically in that way. And since Indian Janta, Indian youth, the approach towards everybody is still job oriented, so people naturally they will end up writing. Then you have these IT wala entrances. There's this IT specific aptitude test and all. So many jargons have come up. Mandatory pairs. What are the mandatory pairs? See, mandatory pairs are the important pairs. Other important pairs. Please ask me any questions if you have, and please tell me if it's slow or it's fast or you're able to understand or not. Mandatory pairs are the important pairs. They are the pairs which have to come together. There is no way out that these two lines in a pair, they will not come together. The point here is that when two lines, say DC, DB, or AD or DA, they are coming together, they are forming an important structure or important substructure in a para formation question in a jumbled up paragraph. What happens is that you will be given 4 to 5 lines, then you will be asked to find the right solution or the right order for these sentences or lines given. What happens is that these two lines which you're forming, they will be formed based on grammar. They'll be based on ideas. Their connection will be based on grammar or ideas. Or there is some sort of, for example, A and D as a line, they are coming together. Then probably A and D are contradicting each other. An idea which was given in A has been contradicted in the line D. Okay, so very specific idea which was mentioned in A has been sort of countered in D. That can also be reason. Reason can also be that, sorry, that that the two lines, one line A has a proper noun, say John, Krishna, Mahima, and then there's this line B which has a connecting pronoun to it. Say for Krishna and John, there's a he there in line number B, and for Mahima there's a she or her or hers, okay, or she, which has been mentioned here. So there says a connection somewhere. In this way it can also come out, and there can be completely, like I've said that in the first example, that there can be contradiction between two lines. At the same time, there can be a very strong affinity in bonding between two lines as well, A and B, or say A and D, or say C and B, or say B and D. So this idea-based connections I used to also look for. So let's see how does it work. You know, let's take up one question and let's see how it is going and what is the approach here. I've got other questions, theory part also, but let's discuss this theory a little here. It says 4 sentences have been given below. Kindly arrange the sentences in a coherent paragraph. Okay, it says France has a significant Muslim population, most of them migrants. So again, this question has been created, this question has been presented to just for the knowledge purpose. There is no politics, so there is no international politics or foreign politics or any other religious idea. It's just a current problem is going on. I've just taken up a very freshly written editorial and modified it and made a question. France has a significant Muslim population, most of them migrants. This is our, so we should know that there is not a single sentence here is odd one out. None of the sentences, they're odd one out. All of them will form a pair, right? So there is no question that you have to look for the central idea, and then you have to look for a line or a sentence which doesn't match to the overall central idea or the primary purpose of the paragraph. But obviously at the same time, understanding the purpose of the paragraph can be helpful when it comes to unscrambling and unjumbling the paragraph given in front of us. So France has a significant Muslim population, most of them migrants. Talking about migrants and significant Muslim population, and most of them are migrants. They are saying that originally, say, France was having many religions, but Muslims were not there, and most of them they have come through migration. A good many are believers and new to the host culture, which is used to handling such excesses in a cartoon, the shrug of shoulder or a pungent letter to the editor or a searing counter cartoon. Right. So we see a connection here. France has a significant Muslim population, most of the migrants, and a good many of are believer and host to new culture. So this particular noun phrase, a good many are believers and are new to the host culture, this is referring to what? This is connecting to this line, this particular part. A significant population, most of the migrants, and many of them are believers. So they are saying that these immigrants, who are immigrants, people who come from outside. So remember, immigrant has an I. So remember, immigrant with an I, with I and in. So in means somebody who comes in. So person has come to a country. And what is emigrant with an E? So remember, when you say immigrant with an E, immigrant with an E, remember the word exit. So when there is an immigrant mentioned with an E, there is exit, means that the person is moving away from his country, outside his country. And when we say immigrant, then we meant that with an I, then the person has come to a new country, they've entered into a new country, they've left their own country. So there are people who have come to France, and the Muslims are mostly immigrants, and they are believers, a good many are believers, and they're new, definitely they're saying new to the whole, which culture? The host culture. Which culture? The French culture. And what is the host culture? The host culture is used to handling such excesses in cartoons with a shrug of the shoulder. You know, they you know, these when these cartoons are made, they sometimes border on being offensive, or they can sort of shock people in a way. You know, they can sort of give result to a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts which one might not have thought about thus far, you know. So they hurt. See literature and poetry and novels and cartoon or art, music, paintings, theater, it is meant to hurt people. So because until they will hurt, they will not think about, you know, they will not rethink about the bad practices or the ill practices which the society, which the culture, or which a particular reason has. So that is what they think. But some people can get offended. So they're saying that French culture is very modern, is very broad, and it's very, you know, they don't worry about it. They may write a letter to the editor, or they may start one more cartoon against it, or they may just you know, they may just shrug off a shoulder or whatever, you know, just take it lightly in a way. They don't bother about it. It says the French Weekly sees itself as politically left, should have nothing against immigrants, but it has hurt them with a cartoon as a blunt instrument. So this says that French Weekly, which French Weekly we don't know, since I've taken an excerpt. The French Weekly sees itself as politically left, should have nothing against immigrants, but it has hurt them with the cartoon as a, so it doesn't have anything against immigrants, but it has hurt them with a cartoon as a blunt instrument. The settlers, so this probably should be the starting. So we know for sure that one thing is for sure, that 1 and 2 is a pair. All right. Then it says that the settlers would take a while to acquire such skills. Which skills? These skills. Excesses in cartoons with a shrug of shoulder, a pungent letter to the editor, or searing counter cartoon. The settlers will take a while to acquire such skills. 1, 2, and 4. Okay. And this, for this sentence, third, it says that the French Weekly that sees itself as politically left should have nothing against immigrants, but it has hurt them with cartoon as a blunt instrument. So this is how it starts. Then it says that, then it talks about immigrants. France has a significant Muslim population, most of them immigrants. Good many of them are believers, which are used to handling cartoons. The settlers would take time to acquire such skills. Hi everybody, I see some 1, 2 people. I don't know whether they're part of the group or not. Let me just anyways share the link with the people in the chat. Any doubts, people? Any questions which I can be which I would like to help you to answer? Is this clear thus far? Is my voice audible? Because I have sort of muted myself. Acha. See here, like I was saying that we have to form these pairs. So we form these pairs on what? We form this pair 1 and 2 based on the ideas. Then we again form this pair such skills based on the ideas. And then we understood that since this particular this particular line is starting itself talking about that there is a French weekly and its political leaning is towards the left. It has nothing against immigrants, and with a cartoon that is blunt, so it talks about immigrants and how it has hurt them. And then it goes on to tell that there's a significant Muslim population, which most of them are migrants, and they're new to the culture, they don't know how to handle all this, and the settlers would take a while to acquire such skills. This is how it is. All right. So what I'm trying to say that you have to solve a couple of verbal ability questions every day, and you also have to analyze those questions that you incorrectly answer. Questions that you incorrectly answer. So for the analysis, you can form this sort of a structure, and you can make a note of, like, for example, this is an example of odd one out question which I have solved, and we sort of did this research here. I do understand that we did not see a grammar based connection. We also did not see an idea based connection. We did not understand the purpose of the paragraph given. Look for the idea based connection, understand the primary purpose, look for the grammar based connection, write primary purpose or central idea of all tests. Example V, RC questions. Also make summaries of the editorial one reads. So all this has to be taken into consideration. So if you will analyze the questions, if you will understand the questions, then probably you will be able to do well here. All right. All right. Let's try and solve this question here. Five sentences given below have been given. Kindly arrange the sentences in a coherent paragraph. So they're saying that 5 sentences have been given below. Kindly arrange the sentences in a coherent paragraph. Okay. 5 sentences have been given below. Kindly arrange the sentences in a coherent. So this is the same. This is again. So reading questions is also very important, because if you will not read questions, probably you will not be able to understand. So if there's a small change somewhere in the pattern or something has happened, or basically sometimes it's an odd one out question and you understood it to be a parajumble and you answered it to be that way. So you may answer questions. So read the questions very clearly. Reading question statements is extremely important, which I always say. Read the instructions of your cat also very, very properly. The 5 sentences have been given below. Kindly arrange the sentences in a coherent paragraph. In fact, due to the liberal obsession with politics of culture identities at the cost of economic and common social issues, the questions around the nation have come back with a bang all over the world. Is it due to liberal obsession with politics of cultural identities? Again, see, it's a political editorial. You may not agree with it. You may not like it. Right? You may not like it. But it is a political editorial. So you have to, in this context, you have to believe whatever has been said there. Right? You have to sort of believe, in a sense that you have to work within the framework of the data which you have been given. Right? So if you have not been given a particular kind of data, you have not been given particular information, how can you go about how can you go about solving that question? It has to be in a certain amount of structure, and this is a structure which you've been given, and you have to solve the questions in this structure. It says, in fact, due to liberal obsession with politics of cultural identity at the cost of economic and common issues, questions around the nation have come back with a bang all over the country. So they are saying that, in fact, it's trying to emphasize a point. There is an emphasis, and it's again, like I said, it's a parajumble. So nothing is out of context. Everything is in the context. You will look for proper links to these ideas. In fact, due to liberal obsession with politics of culture, what is the politics of culture identities? Politics of culture identities is related to the politics in which, you know, politicians and others, they try to sort of talk around the identity of the people with respect to their religion, their caste, their creed, their language groups. So in that frame of mind, they sort of due to liberal obsession with politics of cultural identities, and at the cost of economic and common social issues, questions around the nations have come back. What has happened? Questions around the nation have come back with a bang. So this has happened. So we have to look for a connecting line somewhere. Okay. It has been theoretically argued that nation is just an imagined community. What is happening here? That they're saying that basically, if you look at line number 1 and line number 2, they're saying that there is a renewed interest in ideas surrounding the nation and its narratives and its problem. This is what it is trying to say. Even the humblest and the most disadvantaged Indian, at some level of consciousness, is concerned with the security and future of India. Okay. It says that even the humblest and the most disadvantaged so it says that even the most humblest and disadvantaged Indian at some level of consciousness is concerned with saying that there is a connection that even if it's a very poor and a very disadvantaged Indian, they have certain amount of vision, they have a certain amount of love towards the security in the future of the country at large. And indeed it is. It says that it has been so we may not be able to find connection to 3, but let's read 2 and 4 again. It has been theoretically argued that India is just an imagined community, that the nation is just an imagined community. Imagined community. And 4 says, indeed it is, and that is why it is disastrous to ignore the social and social moral orientation of this imagination. There is clear-cut connection between 2 and 4. So this connection though has been established. That since in 2 they were saying that nation is just an imagined community, and then they say that yeah, indeed it is, and it is for the same reason that it can prove extremely fatal, extremely disastrous, detrimental if we ignore the social and moral orientation of this imagination. That this imagination of a nation as imagined community, the results of this imagination and the kind of behavior and the kind of thoughts which people might display, the kind of concerns which people might have, the kind of results which this imagination will result into, you know, they are not aware, or probably people are not aware, but this is extremely important that people not aware means a certain political groups, certain political analysis not aware, but the common people have this sense of Indianness among them, have this sense of national consciousness among them. Then it says, contrary to the dominant liberal wisdom, the days of nation are not over. It says, here it is talking about contrary to the dominant liberal wisdom. The days of nation are not over. Obviously, they're not over. Then they're saying that, Acha, now you read. It says, so it says 5, contrary to the dominant liberal wisdom, the days of nation are not over. Then it says, in fact, due to liberal obsession with. Now they're talking about the liberal wisdom, and then it goes to emphasize and tell more about it. That in fact, due to liberal obsession with politics of cultural identities, make a little bit blue as well, at the cost of certain social common issues around the questions around the nation have come back with a bang all over the world. Right? It says one. Okay. Then comes 5. Indeed, it is, and that and then if you so see, since there's a connection between 5, 1, 2, 4, maybe it the order might change. So let's keep it that way. Let's not say that 5 and 1 are a pair, so they will come right before 2, 4. We don't know that. Acha. Now let's see 3. It says, even the most humblest and the most disadvantaged Indian at some level of consciousness is concerned with the security of future of India. And I think 3 and 5 are also a pair. Since 3 and 5 are a pair, 5 and 1 have to come together. They have to come together. It says, even the most humblest and disadvantaged Indian at some level of consciousness is concerned with the security and future of India. Contrary to the dominant liberal wisdom, the days of nation are not over. Then it comes 1. Due to the liberal, in fact, which is I'm trying to emphasize here. In fact, due to the liberal obsession with politics of cultural identities at the cost of economic social justice, the questions around nation have come back. It has been theoretically argued that nation is just an imagined community, and then says indeed it is, and that is why it is so disastrous to ignore the social and moral orientation of this imagination. So the two ideas coming up that any Indian who is even the person the most poorest of Indian, they have a certain amount of consciousness which is directed towards or awareness in this to want the better of this country, and this nation and the issues around it, they are still very, very important. And and saying that, and another point is that saying that nation is just an imagination. It is a correct argument, because it is this a imagination that if you ignore this, the results of this imagination, the various aspects of the various I may try to do a difficult word, the ramifications or the repercussions based on these ideas and thoughts, then we are ignoring a very important narrative or a story which people have in their minds, the very important part of their consciousness or the undercurrents which people feel in themselves. So 3, 5, 1, 2, 4. This is the right solution. I don't see any other solution. If there is any other solution, please let me know. If there is any other question, please let me know. So yeah, I think that when it comes to verbal ability and parajumble, I think, and with respect to parajumble, we are solving the questions based on central idea also. We're also solving the question based on the common connection also. So we are first trying to, form proper pairs, proper connection, and then we are connecting it to it. All right, let's go to the next question here. It's a summary question. The passage given below is followed by summaries. We choose the best that best captures the author's opinion. A translator of literary works need a secure hold upon two languages involved, supported by a good measure of familiarity with the two cultures. So they're saying that a translator needs a secure hold on two languages, and it should also have a good measure of understanding of the two languages and two cultures. That is what he's saying. For an Indian translating works in an Indian language into English, finding satisfactory equivalents in a generalized Western culture of practices and symbols in original would be less difficult than gaining a fluent control of the contemporary English. So what they're saying that saying that there are two factors. One is that a person should know if they're translating one language into another, one text into one which is written in one language into another. Two things are required. One is language knowledge of both the languages, good command, and cultural understanding of both the language from where both these languages come. So they're saying that awareness of language and awareness of culture both are required in both the sides. For example, if you're talking about one particular cultural aspect in say written in Hindi, and you're translating that language into that text into French culture. So author is saying that if you translating something which is Hindi into French, then it's saying that, or say English, so gaining command over English would be easy. Gaining command over French would be easy, but would be difficult. But they're saying that gaining command over the say from Hindi to French pay command will be easier, but gaining understanding of the would be difficult, but gaining the cultural understanding would be easy. So what they're saying that for Indian, cultural would be easy to get a new culture, Indian language into English. So sorry. Finding so into English, that would be less difficult. Cultural generalized Western culture equivalents in Western culture would be less difficult than gaining control over the contemporary. So for Indians, understanding foreign culture will be easy than the language part. When a Westerner works on the text in Indian languages, the interpretation of culture elements will be more challenging. So what's saying that, but when Westerner works, then gaining control over the culture would be difficult, and gaining command over the language will be easy. When a Westerner works on the text in Indian languages, the interpretation of cultural elements will be a major challenge rather than control over the grammar essential vocabulary of the language concerned. So they said cultural elements will be a major challenge when a Westerner works on text in Indian languages. It is much easier to remedy lapses in a language in a text related into English than flaws of content. So they are saying that it is much easier to remedy. So they are saying that it is much easier to sort of sort out those remedies in language in a text than the flaws of content. Okay. So it is much easier to remedy those lapses in a language than the flaws of content. This will be, and since it is easier for an Indian to learn English language than it is for a Briton or American to comprehend the Indian culture, the translation of Indian text is better left to Indians. So for Indians, understanding the language is easy. The culture is easy, language is difficult. For a Westerner, understanding the language would be easy, culture would be difficult. But then they're saying that since for Indians, culture is easy and they can understand the culture easier, they should be doing the translation of Indian text, because if you understand the culture properly or with a lesser amount of effort, or you understand it better, then context will be set correctly. The ideas will be set correctly. Even if there are flaws in the language, the language has some challenges, then those grammatical and contextual and collocational and all these challenges which English writers faced and content writers faced during the quality check, these challenges can be rectified. These challenges can be overcome. But if you tell ki bhai, but if the content itself is wrong, the content itself is not well researched, it is half baked, or it is incorrect, they're glaring errors in that content, then correcting them would require another round of research or review, and that will cost time and effort and money basically. So translators of Indian text is better left to Indians. Let's try and see which of the options is making sense here. While translating, Indian and Westerners face same challenges. No, they don't face same challenges. Because why? Clearly told here, right? That Indian translating works in Indian language into English, finding satisfactory equivalent generalized Western culture would be less difficult than gaining control over the contemporary English. When a Westerner works in text in Indian languages, interpretation of cultural elements will be a major challenge rather than control over grammar. So they don't face similar challenges, they face different challenges. So yahin se by reading first side itself, you can say that the option is wrong. So A is gone. As preserving the cultural meanings. Okay, preserving the cultural meaning is the essence of the literary translation. This was never mentioned that preserving the cultural meaning is the essential of the translation. What they said that it is easy to remedy the lapses in a language in a translated into English than flaws of content. They did not say that preserving the cultural meaning is the essence. Again, this B is wrong for that matter. Indian translators should translate Indian text into English as their works are less likely to pose cultural problems which says that okay, Indian translators should translate the text into English as their work is less likely to pose culture problems which are harder to address than language of quality. So this is right. Indians should translate the Indian text into English, as their work is less likely to pose a culture problems, which, because they've said that Indians can understand the culture quickly or faster, or with lesser effort, or they have a better understanding, whatever is they're trying to say. Basically, they are good at understanding the cultural equivalents, okay, and which are harder to address than the quality of language. So this is where it was coming from. C is the right answer. D says Westerners might be good at gaining the reasonable fluency in languages. So they have not said anywhere that Westerners might be good at gaining reasonable fluency in new languages. This was never said. Right? But as understanding, but as understanding the culture is reflected is crucial. Indians remain better place. So what they are saying that Westerners are not to be, because Westerners are good at languages, but what is crucial? Culture is crucial. So Indians remains better place. So this is not giving the clear-cut reason. See, this is in a way it is right only, but it is wrong, because the summary should tell the gist, the main part of the idea mentioned here. So summary should be talking what is the main problem. The main problem which they face is that the Indians, for them, English learning new language might be difficult, but equivalent in Western culture, they would be easier. Now, this is the author's own opinion. You may not agree with this. Okay, so hence they are better at it, because these problems, because these flaws of content would be difficult to manage vis-a-vis a problem in English language. Okay, so this is what is the main idea, right? So C is the answer. And like I've also said that what happens in summary is that summary will contain most or more number of ideas which have been presented, especially the core and the primary idea. At the same time, it will have nothing contrary. It will have nothing extra to the ideas mentioned in the original paragraph. That is the idea here. Yeah. So okay, let's take a summary. This question itself, if somebody marked third one as a right answer, so what is the error the person has done? Para summary question. Lesson learned is that we did not understand the purpose of the passage. We did not understand the purpose of the passage. We marked an answer that spoke about a sub idea and not the main idea. What is the modification in preparation? The modification in the preparation is to look for the primary purpose, of the paragraph. Don't mark the option that captures it. Avoid the option that captures the you can say the partial central idea or the subplot. All right. So that's it for this class. I have any doubts people can ask me. Unacademy is a subscription, yeah, offers you live classes. You get to get educators, you get to talk to educators, live polls, leaderboard, test series, and analysis. You also get live doubt clearing sessions. Use the code Saxena Live to get 10% discount. You will also be getting you also get a lot of free classes, free special classes and quizzes on the app, on the Unacademy app without paying anything.